started. I'm tired of looking all blood red. Hey, okay. We're making it happen, guys. It's coming.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. And I think we're live.
Yeah?
Yes.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes, happy Friday.
Welcome to Political Head Trauma. My name is Holly. This is Jared. And Political Head Trauma, where?
If Head Trauma had a podcast, it would sound like this. I need to start a couple of things real quick. So let's go ahead and get this knocked out now. Now we've got this kind intro.
From the Great Basin to the Rockies to the four corners of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, this is KMMU Main Street Media Utah, coming to you live. You can find us on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook, and our website, kmmu.org. Please join our hosts, Jared and Holly, for Political Head Trauma, where if Head Trauma had a podcast, it would be just like this.
Okay, all right. I want to thank Dwayne for making that. We're still working on it. We're going to add some music in there and do some things. I want to quickly announce that on the 9th, we had two special birthdays. And one was your mom.
Hi, Cher.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
And the other one was my Aunt Norma.
Oh, that's right.
They have the same birthday.
Amy told me that her mom had, was it Amy?
Well, Amy, Norma's her aunt.
Her aunt, okay.
Yes. Yes, so Norma has the same birthday as Sherry, and Sherry is my dad's cousin. We're echoey and tinny, Dave is saying.
Hi, David.
I don't know.
Is it one of us or both of us?
I don't know what we can do to fix it, but I'll do a sound test on this side. But anyways, I want to wish them a happy birthday. Both of them, I'm turning 25, 26.
29.
29.
I think it's the 54th anniversary of the 29th birthday, something like that.
Yeah.
My mom is a gem. I got to spend the day with her, and she's amazing. She's my person.
Oh boy, hold on. Our sound is goofy. All right, everyone, bear with me while
Our sound's goofy. Maybe I shouldn't talk while you're adjusting.
We're going to do some of this real quick.
From the Great Basin to the Rockies to the four corners of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, this is KMMU Main Street Media Utah, coming to you live. You can find us on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook, and our website, kmmu.org. Please join our hosts, Jared and Holly, for Political Head Trauma, where if head trauma
Okay. All right. That should do it. Goodness gracious.
Great balls of fire.
Sorry about that, everyone.
So tonight's show, we're excited to invite Mallory from Shield Maidens on later tonight. What time?
We're bringing Mallory on at 7. We're going to talk current events until then, and then want to talk preparedness. Couple of call outs for things I'm looking for. That's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit with Mallory. Obviously, we're going to focus in on guns and such. But yeah, looking for medical everything, food prep. That's something I really need to learn.
I have been so enamored lately with the Byrna. That the Byrna shoots projectiles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a firearm. It looks like a firearm, and if a bad guy saw you with it, he may not know. Especially the colors. It comes in like a camo and an orange, but it comes in black, and it's a great alternative if you're a person that's not allowed to carry.
Or if you're in a place that doesn't allow firearms, I'm pretty sure like a Byrna probably isn't allowed in New York State or New Jersey, maybe even not California.
No, I think
But-
it's allowed in Jersey because the guy that I've heard talk about it is a dealer out of New Jersey.
If it's allowed in Jersey, but what it is, it's
legal in all 50 states, actually.
It's a pepper ball pistol, so it has options. You've got the pepper ball and a glass breaker, if you will, a hard bead.
And the thing I like, I mean, to carry it on you would be kind of tough because it does have this area where the cartridge goes in, and the cartridge makes it a little big. So, but I was able to put it in my waistband, my brother's, and I thought that would be cool to send my daughter to college with. I mean, I also would send her with the real thing, but it's something for, and we're not selling it. They're not sponsors, but for anybody
when they want to be, we would be glad to.
Absolutely. For anybody that maybe isn't legally able to carry a firearm, this is a great alternative.
If you're not comfortable with the responsibility of carrying that, you can carry a less lethal option.
And this should stop a threat. I mean, shooting one, it can go 60 feet. Mm-hmm. And I guess that pepper spray, or that pepper ball, if you're going to spray it or hit it, you want to have distance because it will affect you as well. So that's something that is pretty interesting. I love the idea of protecting yourself, folks, at any cost. Every one of us should. I mean, it is a God-given right to protect yourself, and it's a natural human instinct. And I just like where the tech is on this, and the fact that it's available. And you can't fly with one, of course, just like you can't fly with pepper spray, but you can have them in your checked luggage, I guess. My brother didn't know, so he just shipped his home because of the cartridges. And the cartridges are good for about 40 shoots, but you load them and you load the cartridge and it doesn't puncture it until you fire it, which also was something cool that I just learned.
Yeah, it eliminates just stored bleed off.
Yeah. It doesn't really puncture it. So all things guns and firearm safety, I think that having that option for someone who's not able to carry legally, I think that's a great option. And the gun itself, or what do they call it instead? A projectile.
It's a less lethal.
A non-lethal. They don't like to call it a gun. They call it something else. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But the look of it looks like, I don't think anybody coming near you would question, unless it's orange. Of course, you get the orange one, they might go, oh, what is that? And maybe not be as afraid. But, if you have an active threat and you pull that out, just pulling it out might be enough.
It looks a little bit like kind of has the same shape as a yeet cannon, except, it's a little bit smaller. It's about...
I don't know what a yeet cannon is, do I?
You don't. That's a inside baseball for those.
Oh, okay.
That's a high point. It offers a lot of options. If you're in an area that maybe prohibits you from carrying your sidearm and you're a law-abiding citizen, as we all are, it gives you another option. If you're someone who's uncomfortable with the responsibility, or if you are a person who's afraid of firearms. This is another option. It's an entry point into that.
Yeah.
That offers, a layer of protection.
Or if you own a Tesla, it's a great item to just keep in your car for when the crazies want to jump out of a car midday and beat the crap
Start
out of you
punching
when
like-
you're 60 years old. Guys, word to the wise, in a road rage incident, don't get out of your car and never roll your window down. That is just the stories I see. I'm just like, these people are willing to beat a 60-year-old woman for owning a Tesla,
goodness.
driving a Tesla. You're not dealing with normal people.
David says you can't carry it in New York, and you.
I don't know. The dealer I talked to deals out of New Jersey, and it says it's legal in all 50 states. Now, maybe you have to have a permit or something like that. I don't know.
I think in New York, the self-defense you're allowed to carry is a white flag. Am I correct on that?
Probably. Yeah.
You can use in place of a white flag, you can get a pool cue and hang tidy whities on it. You can.
Can you carry pepper spray in New York?
Probably not.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
they
in
have
Canada,
to.
you cannot.
That's insane.
Well, in Canada, you're restricted on self-defense. You're not allowed any at all. Like they specifically say, no defending yourself. So, Canada, that's why you should be overthrown by the next, I don't know, high school girl trip that comes to visit from any other nation except for France.
I don't know though. I know some people in Canada, you can get permits and you can have a rifle.
But they specifically say
not for self-defense.
You cannot defend yourself.
I can't understand that. Somebody make that make sense. It's your natural instinct. It's natural to want to protect yourself and your family.
Look, I don't know. Yeah.
So do you want to talk about China and tariffs?
All right.
today?
Yeah. Go on to the tariffs. So, okay. Fill me in. I've been working crazy on Saturday night, Saturday into Sunday, or Saturday. I worked 21 hours.
Oh my goodness.
I blew the doors off it. I was
Trump, let's get that
wrecked.
no taxes on overtime passed,
Seriously.
please. Not Trump. Let's talk to the House right now.
Anybody.
House of Representatives.
What would my paycheck have looked
Tips
like?
and overtime. Get that worked out.
But anyway, so I haven't had a chance to really catch up, but I did catch Douglas Murray and Dave Smith on Joe Rogan yesterday, which was, I have lots of thoughts on it. I thought Douglas Murray, I'm a big fan of his, but I thought he totally came in there ideologically. He came in there and he sounded like just your off the boat leftist, which depresses me. He's normally a calm and very strategic thinker, and it seems to me like he was just clutching pearls the whole time,
Really?
and screaming. And it's depressing. Madness of Crowds is one of my favorite books I've ever read, where he logs all this stuff, and it seems like when the Israel issue comes into play, it seems like there is a group of people that lose all sense of thought and argument, and then they just argue platitudes, and it's rough. History's going to judge them for it. I'm not. I think anyone who's watched this show knows that I am. Hi, Sherry. Happy late birthday. I am.
Hi, Mom.
Kind of ambivalent on it. I mean, I'm not. I understand the history, and I'm a nuanced thinker, very nuanced. So I understand the history of how everything comes into play. So, I mean, obviously I don't support the bad things that Hamas has done and PLA and all of that. But then again, I also got to look at it like, if I was to put myself in their shoes, and a couple generations ago, people came in and initially used monetary gain to gain the land. And then after that went into, quite frankly, terroristic campaigns to gain the land. Would I not act the same way they did?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the tough one. So, but I do think that Douglas Murray made a lot of arguments and appeals to authority. And then right after he did, he would argue against it and then argue for it again and then against it. And
it's like a pretzel. You have to put yourself into a pretzel.
he tied himself in knots. It was a knot tying competition. It was tough. And it's sad because Douglas Murray, in my opinion, is one of the clearest thinkers that we have on the stage. And to watch him kind of fall apart like that it's rough for me. And it's been a rough 2 years for me on that, watching people who 2-3 years ago were arguing principles that now they argue against.
Yeah.
Because that pendulum has started to rotate back. And as it rotates back, it exposes a group that's been in the shadows, like anti-Semitic people that's been in the shadows. Suddenly their voices kind of get amplified once in a while. And I'm not saying that the Martyr Maid guy is one of those voices. He's got a nuanced opinion and a lot of it, but talking like Nick Fuentes and that, it's kind of that pendulum swinging back has allowed them to be exposed and allowed their voices to come out. And those guys are absolutely abhorrent. But what it's done is these principled thinkers has then taken that brush that Nick Fuentes deserves to be painted with and slapped that on anyone on down the line who isn't a complete ideologue on the same point of then, or who has questions or different thoughts. And it's a rough situation. James Lindsay's another one. I'm watching him and I'm like, man, I just, and then you get into the argument like the Ukraine about that. Look, the people in the U.S. were in a populist uprising at the switch of the pendulum. People are done sending their money everywhere else while they watch themselves. While they watch their wealth retreat, but also they watch the possibility for their children,
right? Their hope
to obtain a future life retreat, and they're all like saying, "I'm done. I'm done sending my money everywhere. I'm done having my economy like an economy that holds up a military industrial complex where very few people get very rich making stuff that has no long-term benefit. It just goes to some other country pointed at someone I don't know, and then it goes pop."
Right.
And then it disintegrates.
Death
it's just
and destruction.
Well, it's not just that, but it's making money disappear. And they're taxing.
It's literally lighting it on fire.
Yes. If I was to sit down and add up all my taxes, I'll bet I pay 55-60% of my money in taxes
with state and federal.
Well, state, federal, sales tax. They tax what I own. They tax what I buy. They tax.
Oh, then you're probably higher.
They tax it every direction. And for what? What value am I getting? Are they fighting for me? Are they propping up to make sure that I have a secure retirement? No. Are they building a nation?
My own home?
Yeah. There it is. Into your twilight years. The last year of your life when you're old and gray and can't work and your hips are done and you're on a walker, you will pay taxes on your house. Drink that in, folks.
Or you will lose it. And you're not even given much leeway. And that is abhorrent. In this day and age, in a free country where property was key when the Constitution was being written, it was so important that people owned their own piece of the land and for their prosperity. And now you don't ever really own it. As long as property tax is looming over you. You don't. And when you get to an age, if the people that have paid into Social Security their entire lives, if that Social Security went into an untouchable bank account with a really fair interest rate, for every American that paid into it from the start to finish, they wouldn't be getting a $1,200 check in the mail every month.
No.
That money would be substantially more, and it would be paid out to you. But it's not the government. What we have been we've been shown wide open now, and we've known for a long time, but now we're actually talking about the elephant in the room, that our government is corrupt. And I would almost say members are treasonous because they have bet against America starting way back, further back than these last 20 years. I mean, even in Clinton's time, how much was sold out to China? Now, China, without America, China wouldn't be the second biggest superpower or super economy in the world. And this brings me to the tariffs.
It's almost like it was built like,
It's
I
the
don't know if
illusion of
Nixon was in on it.
with representation. Excellent, Matthew.
Yeah, it's very much an illusion. I don't know if Nixon was in on the plan to make China the manufacturer of the world and let us retreat so that wealthy people in the U.S. can gather their business and move it somewhere else and utilize, for all intents and purposes, slave labor to make the stuff and then sell it back to us. I mean, I remember Obama in, I don't know, what was it, 2015, 2014, saying, no, this was before then. This had been like 2010, saying the U.S. is going to become a service economy. I want everyone to think about that. The president said, we're going to be an economy that is going to be dominated by hotel staff and cleaners and coffee makers. And at the same time, he's propping up the colleges. So he's robbing us blind in both ways. I happen to think it's an act of delusion on his part, but I
don't know if it's delusion.
It should be criminal.
It is. I think so too. I think the plan was to be a globalist country.
Well, they want their wealthy friends to stay
focus
wealthy.
on, yes, the power condensed, but ruling globally, having one world order. And I think now we're done with that. The American people are saying, wait a minute, no, this is America.
Yeah.
We aren't, and I hope people stay on this. I hope they stay awake on this, because I think if China and these tariffs, so for those that maybe don't know, China decided to fight back on the tariffs and say, well, we're raising your tariffs in America to this. And then Trump on Truth Social said, all right, everybody, you have all these countries that came to the table and said, let's make a deal after the tariffs. Trump said, okay, I'm going to put a stay 90 days on the tariffs against all these countries while we make a deal, but not China. And after what China said about raising them higher, Trump came out on Truth Social and said, we're raising them to 125%, starting immediately.
Isn't that, I just want to take a minute and say how hilarious it is that he announces the moves of our nation on X. I mean, that just lays it out. X is
It was Truth
obviously,
Social.
Truth. On Truth. This internet announcement thing is obviously taking place of
Press conferences?
Press conferences, of the media, of all that. We get direct into the head of the leader now.
Dennis says in Alaska, at 65 years of age, property tax on your primary home is dropped.
Ooh.
Wow.
So if you live in Alaska at 65, Alaska's doing it right.
Hey, Dennis, do you have to be a citizen of Alaska for a certain amount of time
A
before
resident.
that happens? Yeah, resident. Sorry. So here's what I was thinking.
I wonder, would Katie let me drag her to Alaska?
Oh my
I'm going to
goodness.
tell you right now, unless two things would have to happen. One, her mom would have to move up there.
And her
two,
kids.
Her mom would have to move up there. She would drag the kids. And two, they'd follow her anyway. And two, we'd have to have such global warming that Alaska is now tropical.
Oh, yeah. So here's here's what I was thinking. I've listened to a lot of economists on this, and then I asked ChatGPT, what would happen if America and China both brought free trade to $0 on tariffs? Pros and cons. Who would that benefit? Who would that hurt? First of all, it would benefit the United States consumer, of course, because we would get far cheaper goods and services that China provides. Businesses would get a lot more. Your Apple iPods, stuff like that, would be cheaper because they would have the right to get in and out of China. I don't believe in slave labor. I think that has to be the big discussion if we did have free trade with China. But China's benefit would be huge. Their ports would be going at full mast. Their manufacturing would be going constantly. Small businesses in China, the CPT allows to function, would be able to sell more goods and services. The United States is the number one consumer country in the world because we like to buy stuff, and we like to buy stuff from China. I mean, just look at Walmart. Businesses like Walmart, Amazon, they would be over the top. They'd be doing great. I don't see many cons if we both went to zero, other than the slave practices of China and potentially taking our manufacturing. As a citizen of the United States, I think if the United States isn't currently building and manufacturing our own drug supply, we are missing the ball. Because China doesn't have to attack us. China doesn't have to step foot in this country. They don't have to steal or even pollute anything that's coming into America. They just have to stop sending the drugs they manufacture.
They proved it during COVID. That was proven.
Yes.
Another thing, not just that. All these bombs that our military industrial complex builds to send over to somewhere else and go pop at someone I don't know and waste more of my money, all of them, first order effects are probably all US, probably even second order effects. But once you get to third order effects, we're talking chips and small electronics. And
oh, yeah,
I'm sure that stuff, I mean, China could probably, well, they proved it last week, didn't they? Didn't China do a blockade test run on Taiwan?
I don't know.
How long if we engage
Taiwan is one of the countries that came to the table.
Well, yeah. How long if we engage, if say China invades Taiwan, it's a little war game here. China invades Taiwan. We go to war with China. How long would China have to hold out before we are using, 19th century technology to fight them?
Well, here's the thing. China has the ability to fight back because they've stolen so much of our technology.
Do, but how long would they have to hold out?
I don't
3
know.
weeks, 4 weeks?
That was a question I had, is who could last longer, America or China? I don't know. The Chinese folks, Chinese citizens, they know what hard times look like. I'm sure that they could buckle in because they know what hard times look like. But financially, a government that is in total control would have to make sure these people are eating. I mean, they don't have to. I don't know how much they care about
their
people starving.
Aren't armed.
And yeah, their people are not armed. And but maybe it would cause a revolution for them to be choked out. Right now, Chinese businesses are trying to get as much product shipped out as fast as possible before these tariffs are actually into place. And China, in retort, has closed a lot of their ports, and they're loading their ships really, really heavy with product. And we're talking about the trinkets,
fire
the
sale
useless
on Temu
crap that we as Americans love to buy, and we don't want to pay a lot for it. So, I mean, this is stuff, the Temu for sure, and Shein.
What's that?
That's Temu's sister.
It's another Temu.
Yeah. And I'm guilty. I've bought from there, but I always find, you buy something, it's not what you expected. What you think you're getting and what you get aren't always the same. And it's really difficult to return it. And I've just said to myself, it's not worth it. I would just rather spend a little more for it Now I'll buy it on Amazon, which I don't know if that's better, but at least I know I can return it. And I know there's a kind of a guarantee with that. If they're getting products from China, I know that some of the big corporations here in the United States have told China, we will not eat your costs of tariffs. So people like, I'm assuming, I don't know, because the person that was giving this information wouldn't say their names, but I pictured Walmart in my mind, said, someone like Walmart that is a huge source. Hi, Christy. Welcome to the show. I picture someone like Walmart saying, no, you're not going to raise the prices because we're not buying these products at 140% markup. We're just not doing it. So we will not take your products. Well, that hurts China. That hurts them bad. If these manufacturers, Apple's ready to build manufacturing here. Of course, with the tariffs, they say the iPhone could be up to $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts Americans. But as Americans, our goal here is a 0% free trade, like where it's free trade across the board for every single country. That helps our industry of food going overseas and our products, but it also helps our innovation, and it helps us bring in other products that maybe European cars are way cheaper here without the tariffs. Maybe there are great products coming across the ocean that Americans want, and every country wants to be selling in America. That's just the bottom line. We are the number one consumer. But they put tariffs on us because it's a way for a new country trying to get into the trade deal to protect their own industry while also growing on the world stage. So I'm not for tariffs. The only thing I could think of, though, is our country survived on tariffs alone without an income tax. And I would love to go back to no income tax, and everybody pays exactly the same taxes across the board based on what they buy.
Well,
rather than, I think it's discriminatory to say, because you make more, you're going to pay up here. And because you make less, you don't pay anything.
well, it's that, yes, but I think, there's multiple ways to go about it. Constitutionally, the government would literally create the money and put it into circulation in the economy through paying for the government. Technically, that was the constitutional design. That was given up when the Federal Reserve Act was signed in 1913. And then I think it was 1914, the first income tax, just first general income tax, was brought about federally. There's always been some kind of state income tax. And then it just kept ballooning. And now here we are where a privately owned bank cartel creates our money for the government and then loans it to the government and to the big banks at a special interest rate, and then we pay the full interest rate as it comes down to us. It's a heck of a scam.
It is.
It's amazing that they've gotten away with it this long.
For decades. And you've got videos of Trump.
For 112 years.
We've got videos of Trump from as early as 1980, I don't know, 2 or something, where he's literally talking about how unfair it is that China can take all of our business, they can steal our intellectual properties, and you have no way to fight them in court, nothing. And not to mention they can outbid and underbid every single industry, and yet you're not allowed to sell there. And you won't see one American car in China. And that is why, he has been on this for so long, and he ran on this. So for the people who are so pissed about Trump and tariffs, I just say, well, did you not watch his campaigns? Did you not watch any rallies? Because he talks about this all the time. He would like a 0-0 across the board, where we either have free trade worldwide or we have matching tariffs. You tariff us this, we tariff back. Understood.
I remember when I was younger, and I was confused back then. It was Japan. Oh, there it is right there. It was Japan. They were talking about tariffs, and this would have been in the early 90s. I'd have still been in high school, or maybe even the late 80s. They're talking about tariffs, and they showed an image of Japanese farmers burning a Ford tractor because Japanese farmers were angry that that Ford was bringing tractors into Japan when there's Japanese tractor makers. I think Honda, Hayabusa. I can't remember the names.
Yamaha.
Yeah.
They make a great wave runner.
But I remember, and I was confused back then, and that visual has kind of shocked me over the years. And as I've grown up, I've understood what they were saying, that Japan doesn't want to lose their industry. And at the same time, they had just barely stopped. Heck, it couldn't have been, but 5 years before, we laid kind of tariffs on Japan. So Japan moved car manufacturers over here. It's
Yeah.
particularly started out with Honda, Toyota,
Nissan.
Yeah, so they started manufacturing their cars over here because we tariffed them if they shipped them over here, just to provide us some work. And I haven't seen our government come through like that for the people in my whole adult life. I'm not young.
No, you're not. Which means neither am I.
Yeah.
Honestly, folks,
All you
I think
24-year-olds.
the market, the mainstream media jumped on this when the tariff announcement was made, and then we saw such a low market. Mind you, it's still high. You saw that dip, but it was still high. I mean, we're still high. If you look at the graph, it dips, but it's like this, and then it dips, and then it went like this. The second Trump announced the tariff retaliation on China, it went through the roof. So again, if you're invested, most of us 401ks are invested. You have to play the long game with that. And markets went up all over the world. Like markets all over the world went up with his announcement because everyone around the world seems to believe somebody has to do something about China. And because that will go in, and we've made China a superpower in their economy, especially once the emperor, whatever he is, what is he called? In the 70s, he went to Japan, I think, and said, "How do you fix your economy and change your economy?" And he said, "Well, you've got to let small businesses in. You've got to let your people prosper, and then your economy will prosper." And he went back, a total communist, and they decided to do a hybrid type of economy.
Yeah, well, it started out, he allowed party members to start businesses. It's opened up more beyond that, but it's easier to start a business in China than it is here.
Yeah, well, the other thing that they had added that they didn't have before was small banks. Instead of having a certain amount of banks, and back then, the United States had 14,000 banks in their country. Now we have 4,000.
Well,
Those small banks are the ones who loan money to small business, a $50,000 loan, a $25,000 loan. Nowadays, these are big banks. They don't want to bother with that unless you want multi-million-dollar loans, which means you and I who may have a great idea for our community and want to start a business, it's harder. And this is the America. That is the American dream. And small business used to be the number one employer here in the country. And it is the wheels that keep our country going. And that's what they said, is you need to have more banks in China, because they only had one back then. Then they put in thousands, and they watched as their citizenry said, well, I want to own a bakery. Okay, own a bakery. Here, we'll front you the money. Now, their interest rates were high.
China's money manipulate. They've done a lot of crooked stuff, and China is less regulated than we are on the business side. And that's not just the pollution regulation.
Oh, it's just their labor. There are zero regulations.
Well, you also have to tie in a political officer into your business, and that's a person that, kind of like what our government put in a couple of years ago, that small businesses have to hire kind of a legal advisor.
Yeah,
it's kind of it's a weird thing.
It is weird. Do you know in
it's
China,
like a political representative we have to hire now, and
they spent $1 billion to build a city in China that is absolutely vacant.
Uh-huh.
And they can do that. They can do that because they want to keep their workforce employed.
Well, that's also, they've built so in China you get to lease property. So they've built an economy on housing that is not working. China's seems like they're in the midst of the beginning of a collapse, that they're holding off, and I don't know how. I'm not smart enough, but we'll have to see.
So the end of it, do you think China can hold out longer than we can? Because look, Americans have to be prepared to maybe do a just step back.
You know why?
Save your money. Don't buy the trinkets and the stuff from China, because it's going to be more expensive. Invest in a place that's local that you can actually get a guarantee on and all of that, or don't buy. But if you can't buy cheap crap at Walmart, a lot of people are going to suffer.
Yes. Here's why here's China's main benefit is they haven't, and they aren't military expansionary. That's expensive. It's an empire destroyer. It's what destroyed Russia. And
explain that.
They're not going out militarily and trying to conquer every shadowed little area of the world.
They don't even have to. They just have to go and buy it.
Well, there you go. You can go and buy it. You can go and invest in it. You can go to Nigeria and say, yeah, we'll build a bridge. Also, pay us to build your Capitol building. And so that's what China has done. We've gone out and we've flooded the world with bombs and guns and, young men in green.
Well, because we know that military is a good business. And
I think it's because we've been captured.
What do you mean?
I think that Dwight Eisenhower warned us and we didn't listen.
Oh, by the military industrial complex? Yeah, I agree. Do you guys have any points? I know we've got a few of you in here, and maybe you have more insight than he or I. We're not economists. We are only just judging based on what we see and hear from other people who know better. Yeah. But please leave your comment if you have anything to provide. We hope you'll like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or follow if you're on Facebook or Rumble, on X. Apparently KMMU has us going on X.
Okay, good.
So, which just makes me so happy because I love X.
That's one of my favorite my favorite stomping grounds most of the time, is to watch the arguments on there. I do want to say, so we got Mallory Heinberger coming on of Shield Maiden Tactical. She's going to come on. We're going to spend a half hour talking about upcoming pistol course that she's instructing the 26th and 27th of this month. Slots are open, and we'll give out, obviously her phone number and her email address if you guys want to get involved in that.
Does she have a promo code for our viewers?
No, we'll have to get one together.
Well, or they probably call her to set their
yeah.
appointment, right? Maybe
Yeah.
they just say they saw it on the show, and
We'll talk to her. We'll throw it out there. See, maybe she's watching right now and she can say yeah or nay. But
let's talk about next week.
yes, and yeah, well, and also, and then after that, I do want to make a call out for. I want to find local in the northern Utah, probably in the Salt Lake area, or Twilla, even better yet, someone who teaches first aid.
Right.
I would like to find a preferably trauma one, but any first aid. I think that's a important thing. I want to start pushing that.
There's a woman that a few years ago I knew about. Her name was Robin, and that's what she does, is trains how to handle a disaster situation, how to triage, how
Perfect.
to
We'll
do that. I need to.
You're going to find
I'll look
her
up and see about getting her on the show.
We're
and
going
see
to bring
if she's
her
still
on
out here.
and get her to start teaching classes, or someone like her. I'd like to find someone who knows how to do, food preservation, canning, and all that. And yes, it's just for me, but I decided I'm going to bring you guys along.
Well, wouldn't that be like Mallory's dad? Doesn't he do all that?
I don't know.
So
I mean, he might.
Next Friday, we have invited Phil Lyman.
Yes.
And we hope that you will tune in for that. Phil is running for state party chair. And I know this audience loved him on last time.
Mm-hmm.
And we are really excited to have him on. So that'll be next Friday at 7 p.m. And we have him for an hour. So tune in, set a reminder. And for those that are state delegates, this is who you would be. This is the election you'll be voting in at state convention on May 17th. And this is an opportunity for you to get your questions out there. I have a lot of questions. I know you do. Well, and Phil's always a great guest. We're excited to have him. I'm
looking around at all the Republican groups and pages, and everyone is focused on SB 54. And it's crazy. I have not seen one person post positively about it, which makes me think that it's just a tool that's out there for the wealthy who want to maintain control.
It's a gun to the head of the caucus convention
system.
How
do we get rid of it? How come all the Republicans in the state at once can't say to their representative, if you do not put forward a bill to eliminate SB 54, we are going to vote and we're going to find someone to primary you out.
Because I'm sorry to say, it's like we talked about last week. Unfortunately, a lot of Republicans don't understand it. So we need to do a better job in explaining it and explaining the caucus convention system and getting people excited, because what these Republicans think is that because of SB 54 and count my vote, that my vote is being counted. And I don't have to go to a pesky convention. I don't have to go to a caucus night. And I get to decide, and my vote counts. We want everyone's vote to count. That's the whole point. But we also want a representative republic where we are getting face-to-face with these candidates, which is what caucus does. We vote for those people who get face-to-face with these candidates. I just think that educating the populace on exactly what caucus convention is, and when I say it's a gun to the head to the caucus convention system, SB 54 was a compromise before they said, well, you either do a double dual path or we're going to put it to a vote and we're just going to go jungle primary. Now, a jungle primary just means they take the top two. And that's where money comes in. With a caucus convention system, you can have an everyday Joe enter the election and just campaign to 4,000 delegates and win at convention and be on the ballot. SB 54 means, well, I have the money to pay for signatures, and I can send people out, I can run these commercial ads, and I can advertise to delegates and the populace alike, whereas regular Joe may not have the money, may not have that backup, but may be the better candidate. And delegates get to know him and decide, yeah, this is the better candidate, and that's who they choose at convention. But then there's a misstep. They're either not going back to their precincts and to the voters in their neighborhood and saying why this candidate's the better candidate, or they're candidate outspending them, and a lot of people don't care until election day who they're going to vote for. We have a disconnect somewhere, and it doesn't reflect how convention goes doesn't always reflect how the primary goes. And this is very difficult. As long as that's happening, it's hard to convince somebody who is just doesn't care either way and doesn't understand it. It's hard to convince them they absolutely need to get rid of SB 54. That's why senators won't bring it to a vote. Senators who are constantly encouraged. I know me personally, our House has brought it to a vote and it passed in the House, but the Senate has to pass it. Our senators want to bring a bill, but there's a large number of people who will get mad and say, wait a minute, then my vote doesn't count. My vote goes to these delegates only, and I don't have a say.
So do you think maybe the populace wants that democracy a little more than Republican?
I just think the public, yeah, but not to be that cut and dry. I just think they don't understand it. A lot of people are new to the whole caucus convention system from out of state, and a lot of people are too busy to worry about politics.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you try to explain the caucus convention system, it's like, wait, what? And then they have to show up to their caucus, and then they have to run if they want to be a delegate. And that's time and that's energy.
Like it's been in the last year, just raise their hand. There wasn't enough people to run.
Which surprises me in a presidential year. But again, I think the party is making every effort they can to get more people involved. This is a marathon, not a race. We've got to use the resources that we have. The party is getting a lot of donors back. We fought SB 54 10 years ago, and a lot of donors left the party because they didn't want to be paying for a lawsuit. A lot of donors don't want to be, they want their candidate to win, and they don't want to be donating to a party that is fighting when they can just donate to the candidate. They
don't want to be beholden to the party as well.
Yeah, there's that. Phil Lyman is ready to take on SB 54 again. And as a party chair nominee, I just hope that, this is something I'd like to understand, his thoughts and his plan, because as much as I value SB 54, party chairs wouldn't exist without it, without caucus convention, neither would delegates. And I don't know how we're organized.
Maybe in the end, it's a way to do away with parties altogether.
I don't see that happening. It's a good way to get rid of, you get California where one party snuffs out the other very easily. So if I'm a Democrat, I don't want this.
Well, Utah does that here.
Right. But the Democrats also have convention and caucus, and they can they've got their people on the ballot. It's not, hey, the top two get to go onto the ballot.
I don't know. Maybe the Democrats would want it, because how's it gone for them the last few years?
But chances are of them getting in the top two are very small.
They've had in their senator race last go around, they neglected their Democrat who was running for Senate and went for McMillan.
That's crazy.
And that's the Democrat Party. Democrats should lose their mind over that.
I can't imagine they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't. But like I said, in a jungle primary, in California, and a Republican can't even get into the end game. That would be the opposite here in Utah, where a Democrat probably couldn't get into the end game. And I don't think that's right. I think we need both sides represented in every election. And so I think Democrats should also be pushing to preserve parties' right to choose candidates. I don't like that the state can come in and say, yeah, well, you're a private entity, but we're going to tell you how to run your selection process. I do not agree with that. But, Phil's been in legislature before. I'm curious because he might know inside baseball on this issue. I'd like to know. But that'll be Friday. So tune in 6:00, and then he'll be on at 7. But we'd love to have you. We want to hear your comments, your questions, and especially, your insight, because you guys, our audience tends to be a little more political, and, they tend to make politics a part of their everyday understanding, and they do care about it. And we appreciate your input. And as always, we couldn't do any of this without all of you. So thank you for tuning in and providing that commentary.
Well, while we wait for Mallory to come on, let's run our spiels for the Nissan dealership for.
Oh yeah, now's the time, folks. Now is the time. If you are in the market for a car, get there now, this week. I just know that, well, Nissan has its manufacturer here in the country, but
used to be in California.
Ken Garf Nissan downtown has a special going right now. And if you are a viewer of the show, you go in and ask for Michael or Sam and tell them that you heard about the deal on political head trauma. They are selling at their employee discount on all brand new Nissans. Also financing through Nissan, you're going to get a better interest rate, far more competitive than what the banks are giving you. And so,
is there an employee discount when you lease?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
In fact, you'll get the best rate.
Matter of fact,
a lease.
she'll talk to her contact and find out. Right now, I mean, I don't know. Forever I've been uncomfortable about leasing, but kind of lately I'm looking at it like it might be the best option on a lot of stuff. So she's asking her contact right now. But yeah, so get down there, get yourself a new Altima or jump into their full-size pickup truck. The Titan is going away.
Yeah, and I think they've still got some. So
they'll still have the Frontier. Of course, that's their mid-size truck. Decent truck.
They got the.
Matter of fact, it might. I don't know. I've got to check into this. Which is the last manual transmission pickup truck sold in the U.S., and it might be the Frontier.
Oh, also, one of the advertising that we've done is for Mosquito Shield. If you have mosquito issues, I know in Stansbury Park, it's a deal every single summer.
Stansbury, spring. if you live anywhere near Settlement Reservoir, they're going to have mosquito problems. If you live anywhere down in the lowlands where they may have standing water from farming, the new areas out in Grantsville across from the reservoir, if you're big down on South Mountain where Old Rush Lake was, they've got areas that get standing water all the time. That's breeding grounds for mosquitoes.
So Mosquito Shield is going to be in Stansbury Park tomorrow. So now would be a great time if you want them to give you a bid if you're in Twilla County, then get a hold of them and make an appointment with them while they're here out in the county tomorrow. They normally cover North Salt Lake and Davis and everything, but he's got new people out here in Stansbury, and tell him you heard from the show and he'll hook you up. And so the phone number, I'll just share the phone number in the comments, but I know I'm having him come do a bid because I live on the water, and I'll tell you what, mosquitoes, They don't tend to bite my husband or my daughter, but
It's because they're
me,
living right.
my son and I, oh my goodness, it's like and gnats are so terrible right now. They are out in full force. I don't know that Mosquito Shield can do anything about gnats because they're up high, but mosquitoes, and they're just hatching now. So, and they are the deadliest bug animal in the world.
Mosquitoes have killed more humans than any other animal.
Yep. So, you just want to make sure that your backyard is going to be something you can use through the summer. And I know that
yes, enjoy it.
That's all you can ask for. Mosquito Shield, and Dustin is the contact. So you reach out to him and get on his route this weekend. He'll be here.
All right. So, what else while we wait for Mallory? We've got. We totally missed April Fool's. What was it? Not last week, but the week before. I got pulled into so many April Fool's jokes.
Did you really?
I had tabs and tabs open of, and obviously there's some that I can see that are ridiculous. And I'm like, but then there's some I can see, like one was someone said that the president of the Mormon church was going to put out a new word of wisdom that you can only have 32-ounce sodas. And so I'm reading it. I'm like, I'm just reading the
headline.
And then someone put a picture out, and it was, I suppose, the president of the church holding up a couple of swig bottles. And I was like, they got me. They got me with that one.
Was it Swig that did it?
Maybe.
So great.
I don't think so, but
that's
maybe.
So great.
And we also do, there's just a lot of good ones. I had a friend who made a post that they're moving out of country.
Oh my gosh.
So I call him up real quick, like, you're moving? And it's April Fool's. And that's when it clicked on me. Oh, it's April Fool's. All these tabs I've got open.
I wasn't even on.
You were smart.
I'm never on. I'm so sorry to those friends that have missed birthdays and I've missed special events in your life. I've just taken other than the stuff I have to post, I go in, I post it, and then I'm off again. I don't usually get into social media. I try to take a break every once in a while.
And then what about that news that came out? This came out a month ago or so, that they have found stuff, so they've taken LiDAR pictures, written a new AI algorithm to read them different, and now they're saying that there's different stuff under the pyramids.
I've heard that.
Like seriously, mind blown.
But is that real?
I don't know.
Welcome to Misinformation Hour. Please follow at your own risk.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there? I don't know. But they're saying they read it and there's it's like 600 feet down. There's these pillars, I guess, and then caverns underneath there. And then if you dig into the old...
Didn't we know there were caverns underneath?
Not 600 feet down.
Do you know
underneath.
What they didn't have under pyramids that I was surprised is a lot of tombs.
Yeah.
If there's supposed to be burials...
Well, I don't know if they're supposed to be burials. But what if, ancient civilizations had some stuff? All right, Mallory's having a hard time with the link.
So they found this through, scientists found this through synthetic aperture radar.
Yeah, they used some kind of radar, satellite radar, but they wrote a new program.
A sarcophagus.
But what if there is what if all the conspiracy
About
crap
aliens?
is true? Aliens and the Emerald Tablet and Thoth and all of that.
What if Scientology is right?
Oh, that there's Thetans and Xenu? Oh, shit.
You just said far more words than I could even know what you're talking about.
You don't know what Thetans and Xenu are?
No, because I just don't follow
You
it.
need to watch South Park.
I've seen South Park, but I didn't watch the Scientology episode, maybe.
Oh, Mallory was there and then she's gone. Okay, so South Park made, I think the episode's called Come Out of the Closet.
Oh, with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see that.
But that's the one where, like, it blew the doors off what Scientology believed when you get to the 12th Thetan level.
So funny. I don't think you're supposed to mess with Scientology because they'll come for you.
Used to.
I don't know. I think whatever's under the pyramids, I'm surprised. Does Egypt let you go and
Not
under
going to let
there?
us. They're not going to let us dig under it. No way. No way. It'd be great. That'd be fantastic. If they let us go dig under there and find out what's there. Find out all the secrets of the ancients. Hi, Mallory.
Hey.
Hi, friend. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. It's good to see you.
You too. All
I
right.
don't usually see you in green. You're always in
I
like
know.
pink or red.
I'm feeling very
Green party today.
relaxed. Yeah, green party. That's me.
Yeah. But
I've taken a turn to the green side. Not really. I just wanted something soft, a sweatshirt. I'm just freezing or hot all the time. It doesn't matter. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy.
I've entered that world too, girl.
It's crazy. And nobody sits you down and goes, hey, look,
No one.
you're going to get to a certain time and you could be 30, you could be 40, you could be 50. All of a sudden
No
your
one
body's
says
going to
anything.
betray you.
No one says anything. You have to figure it out on your own. Like pin your friends in a corner and be like, did you suffer this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or
No
then you
heads
get
up,
someone like
nothing.
my mother who's like, no, I didn't go through any of that at all. And I'm like, why me then? What's happening?
I know.
But I find I'm not alone. So that's good. I think that women should be talking about this more.
Me
Because
too.
this is a big whoop-de-doo that you get thrown at right in the middle of your life. That's surprise.
I thought we didn't hit this until like early 50s, but apparently there's this whole 10-year stage before that.
Oh yeah.
That nobody talks about. Nobody.
Well,
So,
we just
I'm with
did.
you.
So
Yeah,
we're just
good
doing
for
our
us.
part. So let's talk about your next class. I have to say, and I've said this on every time we bring up Shield Maidens, but I was so interested in taking the class that I reached out to, I was on the show here and I said, I'm going to sign up for this class. And I said to Jared, you should come with me. You know, it'd be cool. And then I got my other two friends to come with me too. And it is one of the best memories, experiences I had because I had a firearm, but I wasn't confident in carrying it. I didn't feel like I knew enough. And I called you to set the appointment and to book my spot. And you just gave me so much information right out of the gate so that I was prepared. And I talked about it on the show and you came and I left that class feeling so positive and so confident in my firearm and also with so much extra knowledge that, you know, of so many ways to avoid ever having to pull out my firearm. You do a full class.
And it's a professional class.
Yeah, that empowers everyone. And it was great. The trainers are phenomenally patient, especially with someone like me.
Well, if I was to point out a couple things about it, where there are a lot of professional gun schools out there and classes, and Shield Maidens and Defense Sense are both fall under those. You get some that seem to be not. And I'm kind of thankful that kind of the group of instructors and classes that we have around us has been excellent.
Yep.
But there are some out there that really, it seems like a guy wants to take your money, take you out there, not do any practical shooting, and then just kind of show off. And this is not one of those.
You have a way of teaching real life scenarios and using comparatives that male, female can absolutely put themselves in that position. And many of us have been in that position, just as simple as walking through a parking lot late at night. And, ways to draw attention to yourself. And, at the end of the day, it's to avoid ever having to use your firearm first. But if you have to, you're going to do it well. You're going to do it fast, and you're going to be fully prepared. You have a gift. And I personally, as a woman, sought out the Shield Maidens because I wanted to learn from a woman. And yet, as much as I learned from you, I learned from your instructors who are men. And it was a wonderful experience. I still adore the instructors. And I feel like I've made lifelong friendships. And I just feel empowered. And I think I'm not this time, but another class that you may have later on, I'm going to probably retake it again because I feel like, and this time I'm going to bring, hopefully, a new firearm, the Hellcat, the one I want, or at least make you bring yours.
Hellcat. I say, look at, I tell this to every female, look at the Smith & Wesson Equalizer. Right now, that's the one. If I was a female, that's the one I would get.
Yeah, but remember, my problem was I couldn't.
That's why I'm telling you the
magazine
Equalizer.
with one hand.
Equalizer. Telling you the Equalizer
Well, then
is
let's go shoot the Equalizer.
made for women.
I think you should compare the trigger on the Hellcat to the Equalizer.
Yeah.
I don't really like the trigger too much on the Hellcat, but again, it doesn't matter what I think. Matters what you think.
Yeah, you like Glock triggers, which is weird.
I do, but I like most of the triggers out there, except for the ones that I absolutely hate. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. But everyone's personal. Everyone
has their own personal preference.
Yep.
But I want to go back to what you said earlier, Holly, and that was you were conscious. You knew you had conscious incompetence. Okay. Do you know how many people walk around with nothing but just CCW, simple CCW training, who don't have that conscious incompetence?
That's terrifying,
right?
To think about.
Well,
what that means is
you don't know what you don't know until you find out. And so, I want to give my hat off to you. It's like and that's what a lot of people won't even carry a gun because they don't feel confident with it, but they have it. And for most people, it's nothing more than a lucky rabbit's foot. Most guns in their lifetime won't see more than 7 rounds put through them. And, there's a lot of reasons that people won't commit to a serious class, all kinds of reasons. But, you got past that hurdle, and that's not an easy hurdle to get past. A lot of people talk themselves out of it because most people don't like failing and showing their incompetence in front of others.
Yes.
To witness. So you need to give yourself a lot of credit.
Well, thank you.
Because usually a brand new student, and I'll even warn them beforehand, like, the week you'll be fine. And then the week before class, you're going to feel a little bit anxious and you're going to want to talk yourself out of it. And you'll look for any excuse you can to talk yourself out of it. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So just getting there and showing up, that's the hardest part. But as soon as we get started, all of that goes away.
Well, and I have to say, I did have that anxiety, and that's why I wanted my friends to do it with me. And I was so happy when they did, because they too had that anxiety, but they were like, you know what, we're there together. If we make an ass out of ourselves, we're there together. And if it's awesome, great. If it's terrible, great. We're there together.
Right. And see,
But
I get the same thing. See, I'm gonna go do cold plunging tomorrow with
oh my
Patrick.
gosh.
And he's been trying to talk me into it for like 5 months, and I was like, no, no. I like sauna, but I ain't doing that cold plunge crap. But I I I decided that if I drag my husband and my son with me, then I can do it. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I might be acting like a cat, them trying to push me down in the water, but
And all of a sudden you can walk on water.
I don't know. So I mean,
Hey, will you?
but I still have anxiety because I've never done it. I don't know how. I don't know what I don't know. It's the same thing.
Well,
So
when you talk about the people that are walking around with that class, there's people who see carrying a gun as it gives them this confidence, and yet they don't have the training to back it. So they, to me, are the scariest folks out there, because they're just walking around and they think this gun is enough. No, bro, there's so much you need to know so that you can be ready, prepared, and safe
well, and
all at the same time.
even for the good classes out there, most of them are just one day. I don't know of any classes that go through, the all the different scenarios, including the aftermath of whether you shoot or don't shoot with the police, what that's going to look like, all that aftermath. None of that's ever discussed, but we incorporate that into the curriculum. And I feel like, and plus, learning how to deal with somebody approaching you and incorporating that into the entirety of the curriculum. So you get lots of repetitions of it, because that beginning portion of the class of learning how to deal with people engaging you and how to carry yourself, that section right there, I've used that countless times with how many people approach me.
It's crucial. I think
It
it's
really is.
crucial to a good outcome.
It is. It's happened so much, but now I just wonder over the years, since November of 2008 when I learned all this stuff, I wonder how many times has this saved my life, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll never know until I die, and God's like, check this out. John Farnham saved your life like 100 times.
Yeah, and that's, I want to throw in a mention here. It's a John Farnham course. He's a world-renowned self-defense instructor. And another thing, this class, there's one thing this class stands apart from any other that I've been involved in or taken, and that is you learn this from concealed. Most other classes frown on that. And I think that's
And I'm baffled at the concealed weapons permit class. You never shoot a weapon.
well, that's just the state of
Well,
Utah.
But I'm baffled by that, because
yeah, well, they're not required to give that, but I
Yeah.
know instructors who do offer range time,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well,
it
so
costs twice as much. But a lot of people aren't willing to do that.
will you give us a background to how Shield Maidens came to be, and get into your business a little bit?
I started my business. Well, I started teaching more classes, and then I started the business November. I think I started in 2021. I can't remember if it was 20 or 2021, but I started because I was having to take all these people out anyway to prerequisite them for John Farnham's class or make them feel comfortable to walk into John's class. Having this class under your belt and a basic carbine, will prerequisite you for his advanced course, which we always sponsor his advanced course now, the Armed Response to a Terrorist Attack course, which Jared will be going to as a student this year.
Awesome.
And because Matt Newbold, who's also one of his assistant instructors, he can prerequisite them on basic carbine. I can prerequisite them on basic handgun, and that makes it so they can come to this advanced course. But I don't know. I don't know why I really started teaching. Everyone kept telling me to, and I'd be like, nah, I can't do that. And like every excuse I had got removed from me one by one. And so, but the more I did it, the more I just came to love it. And like it made me understand why John has been doing this as long as he's been doing it, because it's, you know, getting to share this knowledge with really good people and watch them transform in just 2 days. And I've been so lucky to have the group of you know, friends and colleagues who are willing to come out and do this with me and support me, because there's no way I could give them what this class is without them. You know, there's a lot of classes you take where it's just one instructor, maybe two, but you know, we have like 6 to 7 instructors every class, and that way you get and we have different opinions on things, and that's good. But we share the different ideas. We tell you, you know, what makes us lean this way or the other. But the biggest thing in the class, and what John wants his students to be, is independent operators and critical thinkers. Don't just, you know, do what I say. Like challenge everything. Compare it to what's out there. And you know, John is old enough to have watched, you know, the same ideas. You know, you'll see these, you know, YouTube influencers show up with, now this is the latest and greatest and ideas and the training world, and John just shakes his head. He's like, that's nothing new. We've already seen that, and we tried it and it sucked and we got rid of it, but now it's back. So he's watched these trends just cycle in and out. And so, you know, like prepping the trigger or whatever. So that came and that went and that's come back, and well, I'm sure we'll watch it go away again. But so I've when I hear different ideas, I really like to mull them over and think about it. Well, what makes sense to me? What makes sense for my lifestyle, and the reasons why I carry. You know, I'm not military. I'm not police. We had just last week, the police were chasing some guy in the neighborhood. There was some gunshots and you know, helicopter flying above our house, and we're not going to go out there and do it. I guess we'll go in the house. We're gonna disengage and separate. We're gonna stay in the house. We're not gonna try and do anything about it. That's not our job. So I look at all these different things and how they apply to my life, and how I can keep my family and myself safe.
Well, and
I'm not
John
looking to play hero.
Farnham. For those of you watching, we've got all our shows on YouTube. Check out the show we did with him, because he was an awesome interview, and
he's a fun guy to talk to.
He has inspired so many folks, but I think that Mallory is like the golden child of Utah, because he really speaks highly of you and your abilities. But like you said, every trainer, every instructor is different, but so is every handler and every person that's taking your class. And that's why all these different instructors is so great, because each student may be their own methods, and it might line up better with how Jared instructs or how Fred instructs or Rooster. And that's what I find, like they're able to talk to each one of us left with a favorite instructor of my friends. And I just thought that was huge. And also, you're right. You take us start to finish. You see it all the way through. And if you really want to get to know yourself, take a class in this realm, because I was staring at myself in a different way. And yes, I was scared and I was worried, and all these anxieties came out, and I was working through them actively throughout this lesson. And I left there, and it's probably so rewarding for someone like you, because I compare it to like running a pageant. People think that's crazy, but watching a girl come in and her confidence grows through each challenge and through each thing, and to watch her head held high as she's leaving, you get to be a part of that. you're seeing that with your class, because you're seeing these people come in scared, nervous, embarrassed.
When she comes and tells you how
And
she'd
they
make world
leave.
peace.
When they leave, you see their confidence. You get to see they walk different. They're excited.
And
they
they leave
trust
with goals.
themselves.
They leave with new goals, new ambitions, new ideas. So they leave. All the students leave very excited and motivated. Or even students that have been doing, very experienced shooters who've been doing this for a while. They always have a great time in this course. They always
Us
get a lot from
instructors,
it.
we learned so well. One, I look forward to it. It's the high point of my my month. But we learn something new every time. Matt Jones says situational awareness is huge. That's the first couple hours of the class.
And
We just crawl, walk, run through situational awareness, but not just that. Also, being aware of your posture in the world on how you make yourself the least viable target for someone who is looking for a target. We talk about how to carry yourself, how to purvey yourself in the world so that you're not a target. And also, starting last year, and we've added in, we have off body is in the class, which means for you ladies that want to use a carry purse or a fanny pack, or you gentlemen who want to use these new kind of chest rigs. I don't know what you'd want to call them.
No. So the satchel, so the men's satchel or the fanny pack, those are huge. Those are huge now, and so the trend is going that way as well. And so I've been noticing a lot of people are really loving the P365 from SIG and the 43X Glock.
Yep.
And so I was that was my main. What's that?
Is it taking longer?
Not really
for people to draw with that type of.
No.
Well, Bell is
beautiful.
outstanding at getting that weapon out. We've got a mother-daughter group that comes to.
So in a fanny pack, you have to unzip it. A purse, you have to undo it. Usually,
they were phenomenal. Yeah, right. Well, purse, it just depends. Like a purse, you can lift, or it has your hand. Your hand goes in. But I really like those fanny packs. I didn't think I would, but they're great. But that's what my main mission at the SHOT Show was to find every single handgun, a good handgun that was similar to the P365 and Glock 43X, because those aren't the only two choices in the world. There are so many options now. It's insane. The SHOT Show is insane.
Subcompacts.
What a good time that was, huh?
Yeah. What a good time that would have been had I not been at it.
I was running 25,000 steps a day, and still, I feel like I only scratched the surface. And so, but that was my main goal, is to find as many similar that size subcompact, because not everyone. We got single parents and people that can afford, they can't afford to buy everything at once. So a brand new Glock or SIG is very expensive, and so I was looking for as many. There's several companies that they're basically Glocks, and they're good reputable companies. So I'm just saying, there's so many options now.
So the class is coming up on the 26th and 27th. One requirement: if you're going to come to the class in off-body carry, make it an option where you can have a hard holster inside that, satchel or purse or fanny pack.
I don't do the belly bands. I don't do the no nylon, none of that crap.
We don't do any soft holsters. We got to have a well-protected trigger. And so a hard holster. And if you have questions about that, if you want to come to the class, you don't know about the equipment you have, or if you do not even have a pistol, give me a call. Come see me. I will set you up. I'll let you drive one of mine in the class. Mallory brings lots to the class where we'll kit you so that you can take this class. We want to bring as many people into this, into the realm of defending oneself as we can.
What's the dates?
26th and 27th, isn't it? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday, April 26th and
Yep.
27th.
It's a
That's our first
20-hour
course of the year.
class.
Well, and I just want to say that it's not. A lot of people think that just the bad stuff happens at night. You can, anytime you turn on the police radio, the majority is domestics, but they're always chasing some naked guy around somewhere. When
Let's not talk about Jared's Thursday nights.
we had the manhunt at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. So it's not just at night. It's not just on the weekends. It's all the time. Our police are busy, and when they're busy, they're not coming. Okay. So since the dawn of time, okay, man has been greedy, and they see something that somebody else has, and they want it. So as long as you're somebody that has something that somebody else would want, and you look at the statistics now, and there's never been more mental illness and depression and all kinds of stuff.
This isn't a show where we're talking about Democrats today, Mallory.
No. It's everybody. It's
What phone number do I
it's not
use to
good.
get people to sign up?
Hey, Mallory, what's your
It's right wingers and left wingers. I'm just saying.
yeah?
Like,
What's your phone number, Mallory? We're
801-228-7067.
228
801 228
7067.
7067. Thank you.
You're right.
We want to get to you before something bad happens. And with this curriculum, your odds, you'll be so prepared, and you can recognize, you'll be much more aware, and you'll be able to keep yourself out of stupid situations. And if something weird happens, you'll know how to disengage and separate, what to say, what to do.
Just
keep yourself out of trouble.
Just the first 3 hours will probably be an elimination of, I don't know, 65% of possible negative encounters.
That's all the curriculum I've ever had to use.
Yep.
I mean, I only came close.
Seriously,
once.
it's huge. Now, granted, most men, it comes naturally to most men, just because of the way we are in the world. But it's good to have a refresher, and it's good to have that thought about awareness. And Matt says, didn't Shadow Systems put out a Glock replica, but much cheaper? Yes, Shadow Systems builds a Glock replica. It looks just like a Glock, but it has that little sight is their symbol. I do believe Shadow Systems has a crisper trigger, and
Shadow Systems is nice.
And they have a different cant on their grit. So yes, Shadow Systems, and I know every time I've shot Shadow Systems, I enjoy shooting them. Yeah,
I love the CZs too.
The CZ's triggers are phenomenal.
I mean, I stopped by as many as I possibly could to see anything. But a lot of companies are coming out with the smaller subcompacts, so they're recognizing the trend too.
It's popular. Canic's coming out with the subcompact right now. They just, I think it's
the only Turkish company I would buy. Because there's a lot of Turkish companies now, and me and Preston looked at that stuff. We were like,
yeah, Turkey's trying to jump into that market. Canic right now, the thing I like about Canic is the price. Obviously, the price is what's drawn people in. They've got a very crisp.
I think CZ's stuff is better, and Live Free Armory, man, their prices are great. And they make a good product. Yeah,
Speaking of price, do you have a promo code for people, for our listeners who want to sign up? Mention the show to you when they do sign up.
A promo code?
Did they just say political head trauma, and you're like, great, you get such and such?
I don't know. I haven't even
You
thought
get
about it.
Jared in person as your instructor. And you know what's so funny about this?
Well, just let me know, and I'll make one up in my head. It's a good idea.
Jared is the epitome of what we're talking about. When he came to this, he already had knowledge and he was, well versed in firearms. He was an instructor at one point, but he got so excited and loved the class so much that he turned around and wanted to be a part of the whole thing. And that's the thing. Like, I cannot say enough good about my
that's not what
experience.
happened. That's not what happened. I asked him to be a part of it because he's the kind of person I look for to help me teach. He has the personality. He's there for the right reasons. He's there for our students. He's not there for himself.
But that's what I mean. He was so excited to do it.
I know, but I'm just saying, he didn't ask. I asked. He's like, you need to start teaching with me.
I loved it. If I'd have known that there was an option, I would have asked.
Well, I didn't know, but I always got my eye out for people like Jared and the rest of everybody else.
Yeah, we picked up another instructor last year. BJ, he'll be coming on this.
And he's already a guitar teacher. So,
he's a good teacher.
He's an amazing guy. Him and his wife. So,
and she's one of the ones. Him and his wife and his daughter. There are off-body carry first timers, and it's been a good learning lesson for us on how to set up the range with people, because off-body, they're going to obviously be set up for a lot of cross-body action. So we've learned how to do that. We've had to learn with them the best way that they can open up that bag, get that weapon system out, how they can bring that weapon system to ready without flagging it. There's been a lot of learning for us, and it's been great. It's been really fun.
I imagine there's a lot of learning because it is a little different from body to actually going to a secondary location on your person, hopefully. But I
didn't think it was that bad at all. It was really fluid. It was fluid.
It went smooth, and it's been real smooth.
That muzzle was pointed exactly where it needed to be pointed the whole time.
And maybe we also had a cheat because we had Karen and Belle. They're doing it, and
we had Serena.
Yeah. And maybe if we had someone who was a little harder to instruct, maybe we'd have had to learn a little more. But they're all competent people, so that helped out a lot.
Yeah, it was really good. I was pretty excited about all that. So.
Matt Jones says
IWI makes a phenomenal AR platform also.
I made sure to get some swag from them.
IWI makes phenomenal weapons. That's what happens when you're in a nation that's in a constant war state.
Yeah, we stopped by there.
I would love to go to SHOT Show. I know the conference center in Vegas is so ridiculous. You can, I was there for SEMA for the racing, and I feel like I walked 50 miles a day and didn't see everything. And it was a 4-day thing. I mean, there's so much space. And I mean, SHOT Show gets bigger and bigger every year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you guys could actually go under media, and media gets access to range day. So you get to shoot every single brand new gun on range day with John. Because he goes into media.
Do we have to, how early do we have to sign up?
Well,
it just happened only, in January?
It happened while my butt was at inauguration. Yay.
I know. I told him, you got to get here, man.
Next year I'm going to SHOT Show. The inauguration
Thank God I got
was
Wes to fly in. Wes, I knew all these vendors were going to love the crap out of him, and they did. By golly. So,
Wes has been on the show also, and he's one of the instructors, and he also does a class too.
They're sister companies,
right? But he's great, and he's
like a giddy little boy when something. It's just so fun for him to be like, oh my God, look at this. He's just like a giddy little schoolgirl looking at all that stuff. He's really fun.
I'm sure you're exactly the same.
Yeah, Yeah, well, and my dad, he just disappeared. I turned my around. Dad's gone, making friends with everybody.
So we should get tickets for next year. We could
Yes.
drive down
Yes. Yeah.
or
Next year.
fly. I mean, tickets aren't too bad to
Next
fly.
year we are going.
Well,
Um.
I know Holly would love the folks over at GOA. I mean, I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
help but smile seeing how empty the NRA booth was.
Oh, nice.
We don't like you guys anymore.
Hey, NRA, you can change that. You just got to start defending armed citizens in this country. That's all you got to do.
You'd love it, Holly.
I would be at the booths where they've got those cool purses, the conceal purses. I know they've got so many different options, but I would love to carry in my purse, but it's got to be a small enough purse that I can strap on my shoulder and have on me.
You're a bougie, fancy woman, right? And so I think it's Mama's. Do you remember? So Vicky Farnham trained the owner of, what is it, Mama's?
I've got their website.
Seen, I know who you're talking
about. Those purses are bougie.
Oh, they're lovely purses.
Gun-toting mamas. But so Vicky Farnham is good friends with the owner of that place. And I inspired her to. She actually had a furniture company, I believe, before then. And those purses are the nicest purses I've ever seen, and they're affordable. So they're right up your alley. Yeah, they're affordable.
I like affordable.
They're Louis Vuitton with a bang.
Yeah, they're nice, and they got some.
Yeah, they are.
So you can have your laptop in there if you want. Like, they got a variety of them. So nice material, like fancy, nice material. I was pretty impressed. But there are several companies there.
Do they have any purses that I don't have to pull the firearm out? I can be like shoot from my purse, so it never looks like I've got it.
That depends on the weapon you carry. You carry that titanium 357 revolver. That's what that's designed for.
That's what Dad likes, the revolver in the pocket.
My dad loved a revolver too.
You just got to have a trigger finger that can handle a 15-pound trigger.
15-pound trigger.
Oh, it takes forever.
Yeah, my dad carried a revolver. I think I showed you. I think it's a 357.
Yeah.
And it was this big, but it was his always carry right in his pocket. And
revolvers have their place.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to.
They're not going anywhere.
I can't shoot a gun that only has 6 bullets.
Okay, but you can have that one in the pocket. The semi-auto, you get 1 round and then malfunction. Whereas you don't have that problem with the cylinder gun. You have that problem with the revolver.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But you taught me what to do
and the lighter trigger.
Malfunction.
The lighter trigger too. Well, right. But you've never done a course on revolvers? That's fun as hell.
No,
I haven't done a course on revolvers. It's a fun. You feel pretty cowboy or cowgirl.
If a revolver fails, you squeeze the trigger again.
Well, but I've had.
If it fails again, you get behind cover and open it.
When I first lived on my own, I had a revolver, and my cylinder came loose. The cylinder rod came loose.
And that's when you get behind cover. That's
I'm just saying,
if it fails twice, you best be getting behind cover. Mexican Iron Man coming off of YouTube. He says Mallory is a phenomenal instructor. She trained me twice with Farnham for armed response terrorist attack in 2023 and 2024, or maybe 2023
23 and 24
in Utah. And it says Mike from South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is he coming back?
He says Rooster is also. Yeah, Mike, come on back. We'd love to see you again.
Actually, 22 and 23.
Yeah, we love him. You better come back this year, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up next month. He says Rooster is also an amazing instructor. And yes, he is. I can vouch for Rooster. Really Rooster is about the best at taking you at walking you through the basics, just step by step. He is the best at that.
Oh, he was so great and so patient and positive. And, I made so many mistakes, and Mallory's quick to let you know when you're making a mistake, especially when it's timed and all of that. She's awesome at that. But Rooster's the one prior that's walking you through and saying mistake, mistake, mistake. And so when it really gets heated and you're on a time crunch, it's like you've got that slow thought process in your mind just sped up so that you're learning really quickly. But it's that voice in your head, when you're getting instruction, that voice in your head is so important. And so you're the voice in my head, and so is Rooster.
John's the voice in my head. If I have a day where I reach down, my flashlight's in my pocket, I'm like, oh God, glad Farnham's not here to know. But yeah, I always hear John's voice in my head, so it's weird. It's kind of weird how that happens. So.
Yes. All right. So everyone, we're coming up on the end of the show, and I want to say, if you want to take this class, if you want to know about it, if any questions, you can obviously reach out to me, but give Mallory a call at 801-228-7067. Mention us and hold her feet to the fire. Say what kind of promo do I get off of mentioning political head trauma? We'd love to have you at the class.
I'll tell you what, it's well worth it. What you're getting for 20 hours of training and all that you're gaining is well worth it. You can't find that anywhere.
It's $300 for 2 days, 20 hours. So, if you want to call me, I'll give you $25 off. So $275 for 20 hours is pretty insane, honestly. Okay. But we keep it low enough so that it can be affordable to everybody. John is roughly around 800 something, which is well worth it.
Yep.
But we want to really try and help people, get get started in this. We don't want people to miss out because it's been tough times for everybody. And of course, I noticed everything go up. So I don't know what's going on with all this tariff crap, but
yeah.
So it's just getting harder for people to be able to afford things.
But I think you said something really great when you recognized Jared as the type of instructor you're looking for, and it was his intent. All of you share that. Your intent is it's pure. It's to teach. It's to help and to empower the citizenry so that they too can protect their families and themselves, and we'll have a better world. But you could be charging $800 for this class all day. It's 20 hours, and it's not just daytime, it's nighttime training, daytime training. It's up close. It's start to finish. You cannot find a class like this anywhere for the price that you're charging. And the intention of you and all your instructors is just to be there to help people. And I think that cannot be said enough, how important that is.
Well, I just don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else that teaches that has any of this stuff in there. A lot of the stuff that John has included. This curriculum is so well thought out. It's so well thought out. I don't even know how many years it took him to take all these little pieces and develop this curriculum. But over the years because I've been to a lot of courses from a lot of great instructors, but they don't think this other stuff is important, or they think that their students want just learning how to shoot, learning how to shoot the target. What about when you don't want to shoot?
Right.
Because 29 times out of 30, they're going to run away when you present a gun. So you don't want to shoot them in the back. So,
no.
I know how, I can't stop thinking about how long did it actually take John to develop this curriculum? And as he says, he just stole all the good ideas from all his colleagues and friends and threw it into one class. But it's a very well thought out class from the beginner, someone who's never even held a gun. Conrad was 13 when he took it, to somebody who's done a lot of classes. So it's a good class to come up and refresh up on, because these skills are perishable. We failed too. we'll throw a
Mhm.
shot, and someone's sleeping on the couch, and me or Preston pitch a shot, fail the test, but it's
Happens
not an
all the
easy
time.
it's not an easy course because
No.
we have to wear a lot of hats in life. I feel like I wear a million hats sometimes. So I don't get to my dry practice, or I don't get to a range as often as I'd like to. I live in dang Midvale, and they just keep trying to all the outdoor ranges that were close have gotten shut down, so we have to move further and further out to actually get out to the desert. But so it's a good refresher course where you can be held to account, you can get instruction, people can see the things, other people can observe the little mistakes you're making better than you can.
Yeah.
And so it's a good refresher course for sure.
And I have to say this. I am so appreciative of the fact that most people, like myself, don't ever want to have to shoot anyone.
No.
And this class gives me every tool to avoid that. And that is, it is the best part about it to me. And not only that, it's okay, I've done everything to avoid that. This threat is not stopping. I am in imminent danger. And now I'm prepared to stop the threat. And I'm confident in how I'm going to do it. And I know what to do when it happens. This is a tool in your life that if you want to even own a firearm, and everyone should, we believe that everyone who's mentally there should, but everyone should. And a class like this will give you that confidence. It'll give you the education, and it'll prepare you, but it'll also give you that extra knowledge to say, this is a shoot or don't shoot situation. Here's how I make it a don't shoot situation. And all these things you have to go through before it gets to shoot or don't shoot.
Yep.
And that's
yep.
amazing.
The best way to win a fight is to not be there in the first place.
Mhm.
The second you see something off, you leave.
Yeah.
But and carrying a gun every day, I mean, I know it changed me. It made me be much more careful. Made me more aware. It changes you into a much more careful person because you've thought about all the repercussions of, even if when you're in a justified self-defense shooting, all the repercussions of that.
It's
And
going to
that's not
cost you
something.
money.
Absolutely.
It's not something you want to walk in. Well, it's not just money.
It cancels you, maybe.
Yeah.
You're gonna need therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna really change your life. And
that's
so,
if you don't get charged by a bad court or a bad prosecutor or something. I mean, there's a lot that goes into
there's a lot of unknown
consideration.
variables. And so, but it also, it changes you. It makes you carry yourself differently. You carry yourself more carefully, with more strength. I had to learn to not exhibit any prey behavior anymore. So I had to carry myself with strength, so I would be deselected for victimization. If you just carry yourself with strength and confidence, they're not going to want to mess with you. So
Yeah.
so I prefer just to be the gray woman.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Also, you want them when they're looking around to their eyes will pass right past you.
Yeah.
And it is 20 hours. The course is hard. It's a hard course. It's a little physically hard. You're out there all day long. It could be hot.
Fun though.
It could be cold. Sun might be beating down on you. It might rain on you. The wind might blow everything around.
It's real life.
But I have never seen anybody regret taking the class.
And that's why I say bring a friend with you. Bring 2 friends with you.
Bring family members. Bring your wife, especially.
I mean,
bring your wife. I want to see, one of my goals in life is to see every woman armed, because I would like to see the instances of assault drop to 0.
Well, and I think maybe I might be ready to get my 15-year-old You
Mhm.
said that to bring kids in, they've got to be able to take direction and mature.
Yeah.
I don't think my 13 and 15-year-old would do the class together because they're very immature around each other. So I'd rather it be one at a time. But I think every young lady,
You
every
want to
young
bum him
man,
out, take her first.
well, I think every young person should know that this is a tool. You don't need to be afraid of it. You need to be, you know how to use it and when, but it's just a tool. This thing will not get up and kill people. This thing is meant for a purpose. And when you know what that purpose is and you recognize it, and just the knowledge you get as a young lady, don't walk into a parking lot looking at your phone, juggling for your keys, the dark parking lot. Don't do that. That puts you as a target on you, as a prey. You go out with confidence, looking around at your surroundings, know where you're at, know where your firearm is at, and pay attention to who's out there. And always use your words. Always use your words. These are things every young girl going to college and every young man who's, out in the world should have these tools. I absolutely think this should be a class required in every high school. But we're not there yet.
How would it be? I would like to see him just offer voluntary gun education and things in high school, gun safety at least.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath.
I know.
They won't
All
even
right,
give that
Mallory.
to everybody in the military. They don't even. How many military folks actually get to shoot handguns in the military?
Oh, handguns, not many at all. Not many at all.
Don't they carry it as a sidearm in the military though?
Some officers. Most of them just carry a rifle. Maybe
I would think if a soldier went down, they should be able to have a secondary weapon to protect themselves.
Well, so special forces will have secondaries. Maybe some ranger units. Maybe some people that are assigned a crew served weapon, but that's not even often. Yeah, it's not often. It really is not. I got to shoot the M9 when I was in the military because I was the colonel's driver, and he offered me the chance to qualify on his. But that's the only reason I got to shoot it. And that's the only time I shot it, 4 years in.
My experience in the military is Call of Duty, and I always have my pistol, but for some reason when I go down, I don't get to protect myself with my pistol. I just have to wait.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
Anyways, that's the show, everyone. Mallory, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you, in 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks or 1 week? 2 weeks? I'm super excited. I'm stoked. I'm stoked about the Farnham class coming up next month. I just can't wait. My buddy Matt Jones, grew up with him, known him all my life. Matt, I'd love to see you come out to this class. Anyone, if you have any questions on it, please give me a call, give Mallory a call. If you want to soft roll your questions, you can give me a call. Then I'll steer you towards Mallory to sign up. It's a hard class, but it's worth it. It's fun. We have fun. It's serious. It gets unserious while we sit and eat lunch, but it's a very fun class. It's well worth it. You won't regret it. You get to shoot at night, get to shoot with flares. It is a phenomenal class, and we're excited to kick off the 2025 season with a bang.
I know. It's going to be fun.
It is. I've just got to decide which Hawaiian shirt I'm going to wear.
That's tough. Tough.
I really appreciate you. I love you dearly, and I'm so grateful to know you and learn from you. My goodness. It's so great. We're so proud of you. You've done such great things, especially for our county. And you're not even a resident out here, but I think you've done so much, and you're using our local firing ranges, and you're just an outstanding citizen and an example. So I appreciate you, friend.
Hey, I don't know. Apparently my people out there in Grantsville and Tooele mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
You
your
guys also-
people.
Majority of our students are from there. So
Yeah.
I don't get any students from Midvale. Weird.
I know. It's weird how in there, maybe if you, I don't know what other things they like to do.
Must
If you
be
did
something in the water over there.
something
Yeah,
in the
it's
water,
called Democrats.
not fluoride, something not in the water. All right, Mallory, love you very much. I'll give you a call later on this weekend and see how everything's going. It's going to be great. I'm excited. And
Hey, thanks for having me on.
thank you, everyone. Give her a call, sign up. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
Love you,
I'm
Mallory.
happy to answer any questions. Spend as much time with you, putting your mind at ease, whatever it is that it takes to get you to step in. Like, I know I'm nervous for tomorrow, so I know how nerve-wracking it can be.
What's tomorrow?
Huh?
Oh
Cold
yeah, your
plunging.
cold plunge. You're gonna have to call me and let me know how that goes.
I can't picture it.
You're so
I
skinny,
told him, hell
girl.
no.
You are going to have that right to your bones.
Tell Preston
you got no
to-
fat for the cushion of that
Tell
ice.
Preston to take a video of it and
No.
send it to me.
But
I
I
want
hear
to see.
No.
people love it. I mean, I hear people feel invigorated by it, and it's supposed to be so good for your blood and for
I know.
Oh.
all of
Look,
that.
I've done a lot of research on it. I know all the health benefits, but it doesn't.
You're gonna feel alive. I remember coming out of the gas chamber. I felt great coming out of it.
Look,
Oh,
look,
It
geez.
was awful in it, but coming out felt great.
when it comes to the cold, I'm a little baby, you know.
Oh, girl.
I don't got a
hear
lot
that.
of fat stores. You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't. You're a tiny thing.
Huh,
How many blankets are you taking with you to drive with on the way
like
home?
5. Hate being cold, but
Well,
I hear.
then,
Yeah, I know all the
next New
health
Year's-
benefits. So
Next New Year's Day, you'll be primed and ready to do our polar plunge out in Stansbury Lake. We do it
No.
on New Year's Day every
Nope.
year.
nope.
They cut
The
a
only
hole in the
reason why I'm
ice
doing
and
this
people
is I
jump
know I
in.
get sauna after.
Sauna, man, I'd want the full hot tub at 110 degrees if it was my.
It's like cold plunge sauna, cold plunge sauna, whatever. But I like sauna. I can sauna all day, like for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like steam too.
Oh, all right. Have a good night, Mallory.
Give our best to Preston and
Yep.
family.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I want to see that video of you.
It's okay to cry because when you're finished,
Crying
you
or just chickening out.
accomplish it.
Oh,
Don't
no.
chicken out.
There's
Don't
no
chicken out.
chickening out.
You're too
Well,
Preston,
strong.
I
chicken
told
out.
Patrick, I was like, no, man, like, there's nothing I hate more than the cold. And he's like, that's why you have to do it. And I was like,
You got
couldn't-
this.
I couldn't fight him on the logic, you know?
There's nothing you can't do. You're Mallory for crying out loud.
It's the
Do
cold,
or do
though.
not. There is no try.
It's cold.
No quitters. And I don't envy you.
Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you
Thank
tomorrow.
you for being
too,
on
man.
the show.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, everyone. That's the show. Reach out. Also, if anyone knows anybody who has, I'd like to maybe a combat medic or a corpsman, especially local. If we know one in Tooele, please line me up with them. I would like to talk to them and see what we can do about maybe seeing what their abilities are to set up a class or find something.
And I'm looking into the person that I know.
Perfect.
If she's still involved, that would be awesome. And remember, Friday, we are having Phil Lyman on at 7.
Yes, Phil
so
Lyman.
please tell your friends, watch for our post on our page. And, this is for the state party chair election. So we want to have questions, delegates especially. Let delegates know that he's going to be on. We'll also eventually have the other candidates on as well.
Now, is Rob running again?
Yes.
So Rob.
I believe so. I don't know. Actually, I don't
Better
know if
reach
he's
out to
officially
Rob.
filed, but yeah, Rob has been on the show before.
Yeah, Rob's a great dude too.
He is. It's great when you have great candidates, folks. I mean, it really is.
Man, make it hard for us to decide, please. Please. Anyways, make it hard for them to decide. I'm not a part of the vote.
Say what? Are
I
you
just
gonna
like
be a
to. I
delegate
just
now?
like to shoot the breeze with them. Yeah, you know. I already told you. You want me to join the party? Patriot Act goes away. Party that does that. I'm a staunch member.
I would love that, and I wonder if anyone's brought that to Donald Trump because, I mean, this feels like it could be in his wheelhouse.
Maybe. I don't know.
Freedom first, and
I hope so.
I'd like to see the Patriot Act get abolished.
And I have to say, tonight I enjoyed a Modelo Chilada mango
Ugh.
chili.
It smells
it's delightful.
like a brewery over on this side. I
Oh,
bet your
I love
microphone. And wasn't that Rubik's Cube
I know.
silver when I
all
got
the
in
stickers come off of it? Well, they all faded. No, I'm gonna have to paint it.
Was it silver though?
No, all the stickers had faded to like
white.
A generic color. Yeah, I rubbed
did
all
you
the
change it tonight?
I rubbed all the colors off. No, I picked the stickers off because they kept sliding off. Yeah, while we chatted.
Because I was watching it as silver, and all of a sudden I look over and it's black, and I'm like, oh my!
It's an optical illusion. Anyways,
you were magic.
That's right. You guys have a wonderful weekend. If you have a special skill
or a new business,
reach out. Yeah, new business, special skill, reach out to us. We want to talk about it. And you don't have to be, when I look for the training, I'm looking for local so I can be a lazy butt and pursue training local, but I'll travel to train. And I'll travel if you know how to can or field craft, any of that. I want to use this as a stump where I can shop for that and take classes like that, drag my family along to those classes that I would love. And half of them will hate, and then one of them might enjoy quite a bit.
I think the trades of yesteryear are so important to relearn because Gen X didn't really learn it.
Well, I did, but our
parents learned it.
I had a different upbringing.
Right. I think small town folks learned, but city folks maybe not. And how I think Gen Z is hungry for something to get that independence and maybe that to have skills and pride in something and maybe working with their hands, at least survival. I hope we're seeing a new generation of doers. I mean, if you listen to people complain, they say that they're not, but I don't know. They really came through in, this last election, and I think they made a statement, and I think they want to be heard, and I think they want to be free. It's
not just that, but they've called them lazy forever. But what if they had to work for?
Yeah, amen.
There's not a dream on their horizon.
And a lot of them blame our generation for the problems, and I don't think that's fair just because all generations were manipulated by a government.
Well,
and I think when you stop looking at your neighbor to blame them because your Social Security may not be there. Look at the government who created it and then abused it and then is putting it like a dangled carrot over you that may or may not be there. And you're like, wait a minute.
We're in a
Ponzi
pickle.
Scheme.
Yeah. Well, Ponzi's got a Ponzi. All right, you guys, that's the show.
Thank you guys. Everyone have a wonderful, safe weekend. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe on our Facebook or YouTube page and Rumble, and follow us on Facebook and follow KMMU on all their platforms, especially X. Your support means everything to us. Your comments, we read every one, and we are just so grateful for the interaction with you and the engagement. So even when we didn't get our YouTube hater tonight, I'm sad about that.
We haven't had him in like 4 weeks.
Well,
did he give up on us?
Probably.
Why? Does he want more reaction?
Yeah, probably.
If I throw myself on the floor and kick and cry for a minute, will that bring you back?
Or just argue with him or tell him he's wrong? No.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. And, I don't know if it's not a safe weekend. I hope it's fun.
Bye.